campuses and dealing with behavior a lot. They love that. And our other two principals, you know, using that when that's necessary. It just really does, it evens the playing field. And parents are seeing that. It was in the handbook this year. We didn't start last year with it in the handbook. We had it in the handbook this year. So parents are even coming saying, oh, I've already looked at the matrix, you know, and talking about that. So it really helps with those questions. Next steps, we're real excited about, we're sending a group down to the Arizona Department of Ed, PBIS, Positive Behavior Supports training. It's 3 parts this year, and so our teachers from DDB and our assistant principal from CCS are going to be participating in the PBIS training, so that's going to be really great work that we're going to do and bring back to the campuses. And we're continuing to work also just when we talk about emergencies, like Ms. Vocca said, it's not always, you know, the big emergencies. Sometimes it is chicken pox, or it's a fight on the playground, or things that are very important, and we need to have plans for that too. So we're moving forward on looking at kind of micro emergency plans. So, yes.
Hello, everybody. So, over the summer and actually into the school year here a little bit, we're still working on some of our window tinting projects, continuing that, as well as more fencing projects being planned throughout the district and higher needed areas. And then, of course, all of the training that we've been going to has all led down to just doors being locked. We just gotta, as a district, we gotta make sure all classroom doors are being locked. That's just kind of a quick rundown on what I got on that.
I don't know if I got a podium right here for it.
He's afraid of crowds, so I got to come up here with him.
Good.
What do you have, Mike?
Alrighty, so for the training, you know, based on statistics, 80% of the students experience bullying at school. You know, that comes in all forms, shapes, sizes. When we speak about active shooting at schools, shooters often face trauma weeks before the event, breakups, deaths, divorce. Most of the time they're talking about it. They talk about it to their friends. In one of the cases, they actually were telling their friends so they would tell adults, and it was like a cry for help. That was never received, so the individual actually carried out the active shooting. A lot of it goes into mitigation. 100% of the shooters are angry about something. We see that in law enforcement every day, especially with road rage incidents and all that. Most have connections with others who are aware of the plan, and that goes into them talking about it, writing about it, venting about it. Early intervention and mental health support, per the statistics, if they get early intervention, then they don't continue to do the same thing. And then reference the reunification thing real quick.
Okay.
At Oak Creek School, we have looked at buildings out there that would have separate rooms and stuff, and we just haven't found any yet as we speak. So that has been a factor and something that was looked into, just because of the drive and everything.
Yeah.
Thank you for that information. It just
Because there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing out there.
No matter which way you go,
No.
driving is going to be a problem. The internet, phone service is going to be a problem. So we run into a lot of those factors out there.
Yeah, it seems like that's something that really needs to be worked on, because to me, I still see the problem with being accountable for all the children. And if you're having to take them to, I mean, we're in Cottonwood, we take the 3 schools four, how many schools we have? Four,
Uh,
four.
that's
I mean, what central location would we use here just in town, let alone,
That could service
Daniel,
them.
or not Daniel Bright, but Devossi and Oak Creek.
Well, we got churches,
Churches.
right?
big
Yeah,
We
well-
got big churches out here because of the population.
That's true, the Catholic Church out there probably could accommodate, yeah.
And your question you had earlier about, using field areas, the problem from a law enforcement standard, when we have a situation, we are gonna take control of everything. Cause
Right.
we don't know if maybe there's weapons hid out there and we sending 400.
That's very
kids out in the
understandable,
field,
yes.
And we got pipe bombs out there that we don't know about that they were hoping to be able to come back and get. So as law enforcement, we are gonna control the whole area, and then once we start investigating, then we can release certain areas. But as far as police work, once we open up that area to anybody to be able to come in, we lose any evidentiary value. So we're gonna start off, we're gonna go
Big.
contain everything.
Everything.
and
Okay.
Everything's gonna be, part of the crime scene.
What I'm hearing you saying then is that it easy for the law, easier, let me put it that way, for law enforcement to really have one central location to keep control of. It would be easier for you to, with more eyes and,
It's gonna be easier for everybody.
Yeah.
So let's say tomorrow, and we go out there and we have the heat of the day, and we're gonna put 425 kids out into a field with no restrooms. They can't go back to the school to use the restrooms. They can't get any relief from the heat. We don't have water out there. So there's a lot of those things that come into it. Having a joint area that we can take them to, and that the parents know that that's where they can go to. It makes it easier for everyone in the long run, and ultimately safer for the
I
children.
was gonna say,
well, now that you've explained it, it makes a lot more sense to me. Not having all the details then. I'm thinking, safety immediately, and heart going out to the parents who have no idea where their children are. And I always try to put myself in the other person's,
And we
Uh,
are trying to look every single day, different avenues, different things, how things can work,
yeah.
so. we're
I was
trying.
gonna say the only thing in Cornville out there is the fire station, and that's little.
Yeah.
There's no large churches out there.
No.
except- No.
Not that we know of, unless
No.
you start going down towards the fish hatchery and stuff, and then you lose all cell phone service.
Right,
Then we
yeah.
run into that problem.
So that would be a hard community.
Shoot, you don't have to go down the fish hatchery, you can stay up there, I don't have cell phone service.
You lose cell phone service at 3 points when going to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's understandable, yeah.
They're
Okay,
real
thank
small.
you very
You're very
much. I
welcome.
appreciate that clarification.
All right.
All right, so here's some of the, oh, now it's loud. Here are some of the things that are mandated for us through ADE. One of them is monthly drills for fire drills, and then 3 lockdowns and 1 shelter in place. And so really how it reads through the Arizona Department of Ed is really, it's Q1 you do a lockdown, Q2 you do a lockdown, Q3 you do a lockdown, Q4 you can do a shelter in place. So it's really laid out for you, although they give you the dates and they tell you how many you do of each. You need one each of the 3 quarters, it's the first quarters for the lockdown. Also, there's that now mandated annual review of survival tactics, which we have attended OCS and DDB. And next week we will be at transportation, and I believe CCS and CES are together at CCS at our next PLC. Data training and after action reviews are required. So for lockdown drills or the shelter in place, you will need to have a debrief with staff no longer than 72 hours after the event. So, and you're required to take notes and keep that in with your safety notebook. And there is a very large appendix at the end of the emergency operation plan, which has all the forms you're ever going to need for anything. So it's pretty comprehensive that way. So roles and responsibilities, how we talked about, I think Janice maybe alluded to this earlier. Of course, your incident commander, your principal, they plan activation, the police liaison. We are so fortunate in Cottonwood Oak Creek School District to have an officer or a Yavapai County Sheriff at each campus. Teachers, they execute and make sure kids are safe. That is their only responsibility, is to take care of those kids, those 24 or however many they have. That's their domain. Office staff, they're always technical. They would be checking kids in and out if anything happened. The PA, really all of, it says comms there, but really all of the communication will go through Trish Winters. That's a given. Security, counselors, they're there from kind of that post-trauma piece for even, it's traumatic for students to experience anything where they need to be evacuated for any sort of reason, weather, gas, any of that. There's fear that comes with that. And that's really what our focus zone and counselors are for. And there's a huge role that the student plays in also knowing their responsibilities and how they participate and how it's executed as well. They're pretty good at fire drills, don't you guys think? Yeah. And they're pretty good at lockdowns as well. So really, the conclusion of all of this is the biggest thing is you assess the situation, determine next steps, and then execute. So it's really, a lot of it comes with the protocol in our emergency operation plan and our little mini protocols we're going to have with Dr. Alley and all of our everyday emergencies that pop up. But really, the final message is responsiveness matters. Respond as soon as possible to any sort of emergency drill. Raptor's a good way to do that, or if you need to do an all-call or any of that. But like today with MVP, we were more thankful to have executed that, and it turned out wonderful, and the kids did an excellent job, and we're very mature about it. Then if there was a real issue, which there was not today, thank goodness that they can also be a part of that execution of the plan. So, any questions?
Or what I should say, what are your plans to let parents and the community know what is happening in a situation where, say, we had a gunman or some other very dangerous person? How will the parents know and the community know what's going on?
I'm going to pass this to our public information officer. She's so talented at her job.
We actually do have something written into our communication plan that our best efforts will be to try to communicate with parents and families every 15 minutes and keep them updated as far as what's going on. Dealing with the emergency at hand immediately is always our top priority, but as soon as possible, we will communicate that information out to families.
What kind of media are we looking at? Is it phone calls,
We use the
alerts?
We use the ThrillShare app, and so like in the instance today, we sent out an email, we sent out a text message, and we sent out a phone call to the MVP families. And then depending on the situation, sometimes we will communicate out on Facebook as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're running a little behind, so you want to take about maybe a minute? About 5 minutes, and then we'll start. Couple of minutes, so. And a couple of minutes, and then we'll start. This one is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, that's
Thank
a
you.
lot.
That was
I
a
want to
good
know, though,
presentation.
Jess,
Yeah.
will MVP get to count it as one of their lockdowns? There you go, there you go.
Will they get to count it as what?
A lockdown. They have to do 4.
Oh, really?
3, yeah, she said 3 and then a shelter in place.
I guess I missed that.
Fire drill every month and
I've said before, when we were diving under our seats for drill in the late fifties,
The bomb.
we thought that was a big deal. Because it ever come.
Well, I'm curious. I want to see what church they're going to use. Why would you bring all those kids from Corn? Why would you bring all those kids from Cornbread into town? It doesn't make sense to me that you have all the kids at once.
Okay, I'm a parent, so you were a parent. This happened.
There's no buses out there. They gotta send the buses from here.
Yes, you were a parent, you and you don't know where your kid was, and you're freaking out, going crazy. They're on a bus somewhere, how do you know that?
I don't know. That's what's scary.
I'm rattling it.
I'm trying. They all want them in one place. Okay? Well, should we start? So we can get out of here?
We gotta wait for Neil to get back.
Come on, Neil. We let you go to the bathroom.
We need to.
I am. We're gonna start this meeting. Okay? I'm calling this meeting to order, and we have the Pledge of Allegiance, and today it's going to be led by the DDB Student Council, right? Boys and girls, come right on up to the platform. That was rude, but I want to get it started.
Ready, everybody?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Don't go away, stay standing. Okay, young man, give us your name and what grade you're in, and we all know you're from DDB, so. And this year on student council? How long have you been on student council? First year. Okay, how about you, hon? Okay, and this is your first year at student council? How about you, hon? First year student council? Second, good. Okay, young lady? Okay, and you, the last two, go right ahead and tell us who you are.
I'm Chester Cox. I am an advisor. This is my second year advising.
Thank you.
I'm Hannah Carlson, and it is also my second year advising the student council.
Thank you for doing that. You boys, you girls and boys are, you girl and boys are lucky, very lucky to have this program. Are your parents here? Would, a parent or guardian, would you stand up so we can thank you? Thank you. And thank you for coming and doing the pledge for us.
Thank you for the invitation. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Great job.
Good job, thank you. Okay, we're on 103, Mrs. Vocca. I was too.
We are awarding 2 students. They're not here this evening, but I would like to still recognize them. We have it. Thank you. We have Juan Lara Espinoza, who's a CCS student. So we'll give his plaque. And we have DDB student Johnny Villalobos as well. So congratulations to those 2. They'll get a plaque, and I believe they get a human being. Yeah. Gift card. Awesome. Fun. Caffeine. All right. Now we also have 2. So let me explain these awards. So Sparklight has done a lot of work in the last year in the units. And they were very gracious in donating money to the school district so we can award students and teachers and not only just recognize them, but have something, just a small token from us that says thank you for working for us and for being fabulous. And these staff members are chosen by their supervisor or principal. So I'm going to have the two site principals, Mrs. Barrier and Mrs. Wacker, if you guys could both come up and present your Sparklight Award winners. They also receive a wonderful human being gift card. Thanks to Sparklight.
Yeah.
So I would like to invite Christiana Box up. And I'm going to talk about her a little bit. Christiana is new to our district this year, and she is took a position in our special services department, and she has been doing an amazing job, and she's taken in new students and just been very supportive in everything that we've given her and willing to work with aides and our students and getting organized and programs set up for them. And so we're wanting to honor her for coming in and being such a great help and support in our special services department.
Thank you.
Since Miss Wacker's Sparklight winner is en route currently to our board meeting, I'm going to go ahead and pause on the Sparklight Award, and I am going to recognize Teddy Armstrong. So we all know what Teddy does and how well she does it and how fabulous she is. Come on up, Teddy. And recently she was recognized in the YCEF, right, magazine. It's about educators all over Yavapai County. And it kind of took the place of the Teacher of the Year, Yavapai County Teacher of the Year awards that we used to have. And so it was sponsored by Finley Subaru. It says Subaru loves learning. And Teddy received a nice, like, $500 gift certificate that she's going to use or for one of her programs, most likely a partnership. And she also received a little kit that she could take home. So it was great. And I think the thing that we can all recognize about Teddy is she is 100% a team person. And she will do the best she can for the kids she has. Ms. Woodward, would you like to add to this? I'm going to pass this over.
Oh, look, both of them are crying. They're criers. I'm not the crier. So there is no one who works more diligently and in a community-oriented fashion than Teddy. I think that it's a real tribute when you look back at the initial Facebook post about the award. Trish Winters commented that it was our highest trafficked Facebook post that we had ever had on Facebook. And that's a real tribute to Teddy. When you hear Teddy's name across this district, you see someone talk about Teddy. She is someone who is well respected, well loved, not just in this district, but in the community. She truly cares and values the students that she serves, the partnerships, and is incredibly passionate about creating opportunities for students that extend beyond the school day. And I say that in a way that when I talk about her passion, it's because she understands the realities that many of our students come from, sometimes hard places, sometimes not hard places, but maybe the school day itself isn't what motivates them to come, and it's the after school club. And Teddy is highly inspired to capture that energy from our students and bring them into those clubs and make space Also, I would like to just point out too that Teddy has continued to develop as a leader. She has to work, and this is a really tough part of her job. She works between all of the campuses. She's working with site administrators, her 21st century coordinators, and then teachers and community partners from across the district. And to see her evolve from her first year in that position and where she's at right now, she is an incredibly strong leader. And I'm so proud of seeing that evolution as well. She cares deeply, she works hard, and gosh dang it, we are just absolutely blessed to have Teddy in our district.
Yes, we are. Okay.
Okay, so I am, now I have to talk, thanks Jamie. I am here tonight to recognize one of our teachers, so he doesn't know what he's getting. But, so Sparklight did all this work throughout the units, all over our neighborhood at least too, I know. And so they wanted to honor teachers for the work that they've done, just so you have a background. And so our staff, AKA me, picked Mr. Altringer for this award. In particular, he's only been with us a couple years, and it feels like he's already been there a lifetime for the amount of work that he's done on that campus. We have our annual Fall Fiesta coming up. This wouldn't have happened last year without his support, his knowledge, his resources and connections. And we're super excited to be able to bring that back this year again in a bigger manner, and it's really because of the work he's done. I think it's a unique person that can work with any grade level, but like there are special people with kindergartners. I'm not one of them, but there are. And then there's special people that work with middle schoolers. That's more up my alley. But to find somebody that's able to really reach and build those relationships with any student from kindergarten through 8th grade, along with staff members, and be respected at the level that he is in such a short amount of time, I think that's why we want to honor him with this award. So, Mr. Altringer.
Now we are on 104, Mr. Rick Evans and Entry Guard.
Yes, Mr. Evans, please come forward. So, Entry Guard is a company, or I guess a product from Hill and Lock, that is for school security purposes. And so this is something that we're looking at piloting, looking for grant funds through them for, I guess, a demonstration school piece. You can explain it better than I can. You go ahead.
Yes. How are you guys doing tonight? Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for your time. At Entry Guard, our main goal is to make sure the classroom is safe. And I'm sitting back here listening to you talk about safety, and I'm not that old. At least I like to tell myself that. But I never can remember one day I went to school and worried about something happening at school. And unfortunately now our kids, that's just a reality. So our founder developed this lock. As you can see, it's a very simple lock. But this is in case the worst day happens. This lock is something that anybody can do. Now, there's two things when you have a door lock. You get a classroom safety lock. There's ADA rules have to be followed. ADA means 5 pounds of pressure. Has to be able to get you into the concrete. Okay? It has to fit between 36 and 48 inches on the door. It also has to be able to be unlocked
Mr. Evans, my apologies, and with all due respect, this presentation is for the board, and it's really hard for me to continue to see that as you move it. Thank you so much.
So as you can see, the door has to be locked from the inside of the classroom without requiring the door to be open. Okay? Egress to the classroom should be available with use of a key tool, and this is a proprietary key. Okay? We will make as many as these for each school that is needed. And these, give them to your fire department, give them to your school department, make sure you've got a lock somewhere on, you know, if you've got a lockbox in the principal's office, wherever the case may be. This will get you in and out, and it's not something you can go get on Amazon, okay? Proprietary key. And it's like I told you, the door hardware has to be 34 to 48 inches above the floor. The bottom push of the side is smooth. I mean, these are just, these all don't really matter as far as this lock is concerned, but we need to exceed all these. Okay? And then finally it comes down to funding, right? Funding is always the biggest issue because school districts are strapped for cash. We know this, so what we do is we come in, if you agree to work with us, we find the funding. The state of Arizona has, their fund had 39 million, they just moved it to 87 million just this year alone. So there is funds available that we can get for you. If we can't get state funds, we can get federal funds. So this is one of those things where we consider it a no-brainer because you just literally have to sign and we do the work. We get you the funding. It's at no cost to the school district. Any questions?
I do.
Yep.
On the key, it's one key fits every lock, right?
Every lock in the school,
In the school,
only in the school.
only in the school. And each
I
school.
assume we could do it per school district, but I would think you would want to keep that safe where
Yeah.
it's per school.
That, I thought it was just one lock for all, but it's for school, okay.
Yeah.
I wanna ask you, Matt, are you familiar with this?
Yes, we have a presentation on this already.
Oh, okay.
Does, is that key heavy? Could I?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't go very well on your lanyard, huh?
No.
Sorry, Kate. Yeah,
It's something you would want to keep protected and safe.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else wants? It's pretty heavy.
Heavy duty.
Yeah.
My question, Mr. Evans, would be, do you have any other local schools or districts within our region that use this that we can reach out to see how they're liking it?
You
or-
would be the pilot school.
That's part of the, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this lock has been on the market. I mean, we had to get through our patents. We've been on the market since probably about April or May. We have done schools in Texas. We just signed 55 schools in California and another 68 in Texas. We do believe this will be the wave of the future. It's just that good of a lock. We've got a lot of we've even got people at federal level that are trying to help us with federal funding. So this is something that I think will be pretty common eventually. It's just, yeah, you're going to be the pilot school, but part of that reason you being the pilot is why we do have special funding for the first school. And that's one of the reasons why we're here, that the person that is doing the private funding, who I can't mention, this particular school is near and dear to their heart.
Okay, I wanted to ask this now. Would this replace the lock on the door?
No, it's an addition to.
It's an addition to, okay.
It does not replace it. It's just, I mean, some schools are using it now. Like I say, the few schools that are using it in Texas, they use it, they lock it all the time. Others keep it open where it's just used in case of emergency.
Okay, that's what I was
And you
curious.
did say it was bulletproof.
It is. Absolutely. So when we tested this, we tried to get SWAT, and you guys already heard the story. SWAT wouldn't fire into this because if they were going to fire into this, they knew they were going to, their shields, their $7,000 shields were going to be wasted. So it took a lot of time in it to get them to actually agree to actually shoot it. But this is, I forget the exact steel, but if you shoot into this, it's gonna explode that bullet and come right back on.
It's
you.
going to come back on.
Do you know what the fire rating on that is? I'm assuming much longer than the door, probably.
Yeah, I don't know that. I'd make something up, but it's.
Yeah.
It lasts forever, check.
And that is the thing about it. The maintenance is just simply WD-40.
Find them 100 years from now and wonder what the heck they are.
Yeah, I would like to, just to see just how easy that cuts.
Am I going up?
Yeah, that's not a lot.
That opens it up and that closes it.
Yeah, it has to be where you can do it with a closed
That's
fist.
Now,
easy.
I have to ask this, how many kids have locked the door that you know that?
Well, like I say, it's pretty, this is really the first school year that's been
Oh,
so
this
so
is-
we haven't had anything yet. But I can guarantee at some point you will.
Oh, it's going to, because some kid's gonna do it.
Yeah. Some kid's gonna try to lock you.
Oh, yes.
They are, a little trick.
I may or may not have been one of those kids.
I would have been scared to death.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? Okay.
Thank you for your
Thank you
presentation.
for your,
for your time.
thank
Thank you, sir.
you.
Thank you.
And we'll consult with Mr. Matt.
So, this is a special circumstance really that came our way via Yavapai County Superintendent.
Okay.
And so after discussion, they pilot one school. So after discussion with Matt and I and Tammy narrowed it down to it would be an outdoor school. And so we thought immediately of CCS. The reasons why where it would be at CCS is number one, they seem to have a large population of not a large, but I would say in the population of homelessness in Cottonwood and transiency, they see a lot of people, and where they are location-wise is really in a busy area where people are on and off that campus. It's one of our largest campuses as far as square footage and classroom space. It's gigantic, and so that would really be our target for the pilot.
And if we did this, because you said it wouldn't cost anything, would it be available to our other schools at no cost?
Yes. So all we need, if the board would decide to go forward and allow us to, we just need to, you have to sign 2 agreements. One is with us, with Hill and Law, which allows us to come out and assess the school. If we have to bring an architect, just to make sure that we're keeping things up to code, if that has to happen. And that's the first agreement. The second agreement would just be with our grant writing team. They are based in Virginia, and they are, it's what they do, they're lobbyists, right?
Mhm.
So they get funds, and so you would have to engage them as well. And then we would take care of everything. All we would need would be like your school ID number. There's a few things that we would have to work with a liaison of your school.
That would be Trish
Right. And then after that's done,
and Matt.
yeah, we push everything else. And so it's
Okay.
basically, and in schools, depending on the school, I mean, we've got nothing, we can put one of these locks on in 5 minutes.
Wow.
So we can, the thing is, if you decide to go with us, and we hope you do, we try to do it with no disruption to the schools.
Okay.
Okay, so it's, basically, if we can get done on the weekend, we're gonna do it on the weekend. Now, if we've gotta replace doors and there's a lot of hardware besides just the lock, then it's gonna take a little bit more time.
Okay, let me ask you this now.
Yep.
If you have to replace the doors, whose cost is that?
We write that under the grant as well, and that's covered.
Okay.
Yeah, door hardening is actually written into that state bill.
Okay. All right.
So metal doors or wooden doors, either one?
We can do a solid wooden door. If it's a hollow wooden door, we're gonna have to replace the door.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. But
And
again,
that-
Sure, we have any.
no matter what we have to do, we will write whatever we have to do. That's why we come to an assessment. We do a full assessment. If we need to replace the frame and the doors, whatever we need, we write that into the assessment that we're gonna send in for funding. So there's no surprises in the back end. Oh, by the way, we went $1,000 over
Yeah,
budget,
we
we went
weren't
10,000 over
counting on
budget, we
this,
need help.
yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. And if we just, if we go ahead and do this,
Yep.
then if we want the other schools done right away, could you do them right away too?
Just so you know, if you were to give me the okay today, It's gonna take between 3 and 6 months just because even though the funding is there,
For one school.
to get funding, well, no, you could group them all. It's gonna take about the same amount of time. It's just the process it requires to go to get the funding.
Okay.
It takes the process for, number one, our assessment team to come in and do the proper assessment. Then, hey, we need this, these are the funds we need. Then you submit that to whatever agency, whether that's the state or the federal, and that just takes time. It's government.
So we might, if we did this, we might be better off just to include all our schools. If that's a possibility.
It is a possibility, yeah. I can tell you the funding for one, maybe 2 schools based on the numbers that I've been given. We can go pretty quick with that because that doesn't have the red tape attached to it.
Okay.
The others where we actually have to go and get the federal and state money,
Okay,
those are gonna take a little bit more time,
okay, talk to Mr. Matt then.
okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. 105, Superintendent report.
Okay, well, I have 2 things to report to you this evening. The first one is the Trust Policy Summit. Mary Valenzuela, Barbara Amato, Trisha, and I went to this summit last week. It was great as always. Legislative updates from the past session and kind of what schools need to do to prepare for those. We also had a very great motivational speaker who we'd like to at some point bring up to COCSD, and he was a professional ball player, ended up getting, I think he was with the Seattle Mariners is what it said. He ended up getting injured and then had to move past that, and he was a phenomenal speaker, don't you agree?
Oh, if you just would think that education was his whole life, and he was never a ball player, but he used that to motivate, and he was wonderful.
Yes, his name was Lance Thonvold. He lives in, it sounds like the East Valley,
East
so
Valley.
he lives in Arizona now, and he works with schools and things. On many, he's a motivational speaker on many different things, and so Trisha and I have already connected with him, and we'll continue to kind of look at that, maybe for something for kids or the assembly, or he has a really good perspective and outlook, and that builds resilience and
He's
things
very
like
positive.
that. Very positive. Then we went to one session in the afternoon, which was Title IX, which everybody's like, yee, because we don't know where we stand with Title IX, but
No.
we finally, we're back to, it changed in 2024, it was updated, and then now we're back to 2020. So it was reacquainting ourselves with what that would look like. Very different process, very different between the two. So this one simplifies it quite a bit. Also, we began, or Trisha has scheduled override community presentations where Miss Jansen, Jamie Woodward, and I will kind of tag team this presentation just on facts about what the override does for our specific school district. So we have the Verde Valley Clubhouse. We have some sort of, it's called Onyx, right, Trisha? Onyx
It's the
group.
Verde Valley Precinct voters.
People that work at the polls and such. We present to them. We also present to Kiwanis, correct, club, and we had a 4th one.
The lunch and learn at the Verde Valley Community Center.
Oh, yes, the Verde Valley Senior Center Lunch and Learn. So we'll be over there as well.
And you keep looking for more places to go.
Trisha's reached out
push
to
it.
a few more
Good.
places. Yep. So we're looking at getting those facts out there. We've had them pushed out on Facebook. She shared it. We're looking at, just getting those facts out there. That's what we can do. So it'd be about $1.2 million for our district. So it's important.
And I was gonna get back to the trust. I would like for somebody from the trust just to maybe come up and, at one of our board meetings at a study session and just talk a little bit about some of the stuff that they're doing for us. Because you would be surprised, I mean, they do a lot with the legislature, and it's a good eye opener, and it would be good for us to see what's going, the whole board to see what's going on.
And something that's new for a school board, but it was passed this last
Oh, yeah.
session, is you are all now considered mandatory reporters.
Yes.
So if you hear of anything happening in the district, community, anything like that would be harmful for a child, you are now considered a mandatory reporter. And so we specifically talked about them covering what does that look like and entail for school boards. 'Cause
And that
that's
was a real eye opener, because they said, you just can't report it to the superintendent. You have to call it in, and then even if you report it to a school officer, you have to still call it in and report it, which I didn't, you know.
So kind of like for school administrators, listen to this one. This one is important. You cannot, and just like Mary said, for school board, this is anybody in this that works for the school district. Reporting it is not telling the SRO.
No. You have
So you, as a school administrator or school employee, have to call DCS yourself, and you also have to report to the police, not the SRO. So you would have to call
twice.
Yes, you'd have to call twice and report into Yavapai County Sheriff or Cottonwood Police Department or whoever that agency is for you. At the time, it is not up to an SRO to take that information. Now, that agency may assign the case to the SRO back to them, which they typically do. I know working with Alex Hawkins and Yavapai County Sheriff, we would call something in. We would have to call it in separately from him. And then they would either send a deputy out or they would assign it to Alex Hawkins. So that is what that would look like.
And that might be a good thing for the trust to come up and review with
Yep,
the board on that.
we talked about that being at our next board retreat.
Okay, now we are on 106, one great thing. Mrs. Berry, we're gonna start with you. Oh.
Thank you. We have our Title I night that is scheduled in September.
It's not on.
Okay, we have our Title I night scheduled in September, so that's coming up, and we're going to be doing an escape room for this year. So we're excited to have that, and a little different to get our students engaged. And then this year, our Title I staff has been working really hard on getting our WIN groups up and running. And we have 2 grade levels that we have made adjustments in our schedules to include our exploratory teachers in those WIN groups so that we are able to have smaller intervention groups and to provide more targeted interventions that meet the students' needs better.
Okay, Ms. Romero?
Good evening. So at Cottonwood Education Services for the entire campus, we have implemented some new entrance and security procedures. Most notably, we have a new electronic entrance for our office doors, and our preschool now come through the office. So instead of the preschool students going over to the preschool and going in those gates, they actually get dropped off in the office, and then the paraprofessionals come and pick them up. So we no longer have parents coming through there and picking up kids, nor are they showing up at random times to interrupt the teaching. So in order to make that work, Mariposa, they did purchase a new wagon. It is a 6-seater wagon with straps It looks really fun.
Boy, you're uptown.
It's pretty cool stuff. They're pretty excited about it. Not so excited about the straps though, but gotta have the straps. We have 37 students at Verde Tech who returned from last year. Out of those 37, 12 of them were honored for honor roll for the spring semester. And finally, the Science Vortex is offering free field trips to Title I schools, which would be all 4 of the K-8s, sponsored by the Rosenbluth Family Foundation, and they have already hosted 6 classrooms from COCSD.
Great. Okay, Mrs. Wacker?
All right. So our 8th graders are taking an exploratory class called Leadership with Miss Stephanie Felix, our school counselor. We actually are going to extend it to our 7th graders now moving forward too. We mirrored it off of what we did during summer learning with Miss Felix's group. So basing it off of community service and not just leadership and learning leadership skills, but also community service and how they can give back to our community. It is kind of our theme this year for CCS is what can you do for your community, not just the school, but also outside of the school. So 8th graders, every Thursday, Miss Lee drives them down with Miss Felix to Manzanita, and they pack food boxes for the community. And then it takes a little bit longer and cuts into Miss Lee's science time, so we give her extra time on Friday. So it was a good trade-off, thankfully, with Miss Lee. And again, our 7th graders are kind of excited about it, and so we're going to open that up to them instead of theater. And then our theater teacher is going to be able to run some reading intervention groups and math groups, which will help. So we're kind of exchanging that off. And then I talked a little earlier, but our 2nd annual Fall Fiesta in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month is in 2 weeks, hard to believe. It'll be September 19th from 5:30 to 7:30. We're extending the time longer this year. We will have live mariachi again. The same band that came out of Phoenix is coming up. They've actually been coming up a couple of Saturdays working with our guitar players, and so they'll be playing with them again. And then this year we have started a folklorico dance, so baile folklorico, which is the traditional Hispanic, the big skirts and the twirl. It's super fun. I even practiced with them just for fun. I'm not dancing, no. No. No, I'm not personally dancing. So we have right now, we've got 4 girls and 4 boys, so they're paired up. So Cody Altringer, the guy so this lady's been traveling from New Mexico on Saturdays, training our students. And I say training because she is a drill sergeant. I mean, these kids have never worked so hard, so they've been dancing from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. the last couple Saturdays with very few breaks. I mean, she was like, let's go. And so they'll be performing 2 dances. She's provided most of the costumes, and then the Lisa Foundation actually helped us out to buy the shoes and a couple things that we can reuse each year as well. And so we'll be debuting a couple dances as well, and then we're hoping over time that will start to grow. So Miss Felix, our counselor, is actually using her leadership time as well to work with those kids on the dancing. And so it's all coming together. We invite everyone to come out and attend. It was an amazing event last year. We are going to pre-sell tickets this year, so they're not lined up down the street. I think UK's came last year. They were lined up down the street. Like literally, I felt like we were going to like a concert or something, and people were just waiting down the road. So please come out. There will be food, music, dancing, fun, games, piñatas. The art club is art classes, building piñatas again, and paper flowers. And so it's just going to be a really great time. We're looking forward to it again.
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Tatum?
Mrs. Tatum told me what to say.
That's all right. Miss Langley, go ahead.
Okay. So out at OCS, they have started a new attendance incentive program this year. So students classrooms with perfect attendance can earn points, and then there'll be some incentives for them at the end of the month. And then they also had their first Roadrunner Rally Awards. It was their first of the year, and they honored students that showed STEM principles or something like that. And at MVP, we had the launch of our 21st Century After School Clubs, our sign up. So that's been really exciting for parents to start looking at what's coming coming up. We have a new coordinator this year. Zach Jernigan is our after school clubs program, so he is doing a great job and getting us off the ground, and we're ready for that to start. And then we had our first learner profile assembly for caring, one of our learner profiles. And so we honored students last Friday. We honored classrooms for perfect attendance, and also for just showing good character skills by classroom across the campus. And then in our working towards our new curriculum that we that we got last year, so the CKLA, and even just really the math and focus, we're focusing in on our IB units this year. They're always a fluid piece of our curriculum that kind of changes and with the ebb and flow of curriculum. And so now that we're solid with 1 year of CKLA under our belts, we are focusing on getting those rewritten. We have our next evaluation in about a year and a half to 2 years. So,
Ms. Vocca, would you like to do Ms. Tatum's?
I did.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I said, yeah, they
Oh,
did their
'cause I missed-
attendance
I missed it,
incentives and their Roadrunner Rally
Okay.
Awards.
I didn't hear that, I'm
Sorry.
sorry. Okay, now we're on number 2, the approval of the consent agenda.
I just wanted to pull 2.09 for comment.
Okay, let me go there. You want to pull it? Okay. So we'll pull 209 and we can use it as a regular item to discuss. Okay, on 209, it's approval. It was a read better to be better agreement. The cost of the district for this program would normally be $52,500 at $17,500 per site. We are offering this program at 3 sites. The cost is waived, and the only cost to the district would be the 3 after-school club leaders each week who are letters trained to facilitate these high-quality literacy clubs. Okay, would you like to discuss why you want?
Sure, it looked like something we should celebrate. I was just curious how we were able to get the funding. I figured it was Miss Woodward, but I wasn't sure.
It's on you, Kayla.
So we actually began Read Better, Be Better last year. The originator of the program, Sophie, started the nonprofit down in Phoenix, and she co-presented with Dr. Alley, myself, and who was our third person that presented with us? Mrs. Wacker at the YCESA initial countywide superintendent meeting last year. And Superintendent King, through the Flynn Foundation, met Sophie. They were sitting next to each other. She started talking about her organization. And so Superintendent King brought her up. Superintendent Vocca, myself, and Teddy Armstrong met with Sophie last year. We definitely hit it off. There was a bump in the road, though, I will be honest, last year financially. And so we had to do some digging and figure things out. We weren't sure that we would be able to continue this year, especially with the freeze initially on 21st century funding. And I'd like to give credit to the organization themselves, Read Better, Be Better. They dug into their pockets because it has been a goal of theirs to expand outside of Maricopa County. And so we said that as a rural school district in Arizona that is receiving, bottom of the barrel funding, this will be a challenge for us. And you saw it does come with a high price tag. And so last year we did kick a little bit of money toward it, but they were able to dig into their pockets and fully fund us continuing this into this year. So Mr. Michael, is it Hustad, Nicole? Hustad. At Dr. Daniel Bright's school ran the program last year, and then remind me, Heather Chelsea Henderson was was actually a substitute and is now a first-year teacher with us this year. She ran the program at MVP. MVP will be expanding to, is it MVP expanding to 2 programs this year or DDB? MVP's doing 2. MVP will run 2 programs. That means they'll run a K1 program with older mentor readers, and then they will run a 2-3 program. DDB will run the 2-3 program, and we hope to continue to expand and bring in additional dollars as well. So yes, you're right. It's something to be celebrated. Yes.
Yes. Okay, since we pulled it. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve 209? We have to do that because we pulled it. Right?
Okay. I don't think there's an action, right?
Isn't there? We'll have to approve it, yeah. As I thought. Do I have a motion to approve 209?
I move that we approve 209, the early, wait, I'm on the wrong one.
It's approval.
Approval of Read Better. I was
Read
going
Better
to approve
agreement.
kindergarten.
So it's an agreement.
Agreement.
We're approving the agreement.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now,
Real quick, Madam President, I also too, along with Ruth Allen, I just wanted to congratulate you guys for that. I saw that and I thought about asking to get it
Yeah.
pulled too, so I'm glad I'm not the only one who does it.
we have to give accolades for
yeah.
when we do something like that.
Yeah, but really
Okay.
great job, that's huge.
Yes, it is. Now, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda items. We haven't done that.
President Counselor, we need to, approve the, I need everyone to vote on the
Oh.
item I just sent.
I thought we did that. Everybody in favor for
I-
209?
I haven't received it yet. It's digital. She's asking us to vote on the digital.
Okay,
Oh,
okay. Now,
where is it?
she hasn't sent it. When she
Oh.
sends it to us,
I sent it, but for some reason
it's not going.
It's not, yeah.
But we did a vote.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll make a
there it
motion
is.
to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go. All right.
it says in progress now.
Yeah. I know,
I'm
the
not
computers
showing
are acting funny.
anything.
Okay. Miss Winters, do we have a call to the public?
We do not have a call to public.
Okay. Okay, now we have the curricular and instructional systems, the curriculum coordinator update by Miss Jamie Woodward.
Thank you, President Valenzuela. We have just wrapped up our fall benchmark assessments for students in grades kindergarten through 12th grade. I would like to give a special thank you to Eric Wilson, who assisted along with Technology Director Parrish in moving our students over on our student My School app system that integrates with Google. Our students now have a much easier time signing into their Chromebooks, which means being able to actually access their fall benchmark assessments. It was a much quicker process this year. I also would like to thank and recognize Laura Borden and our curricular team who did some updates over the summer with assessments as well. I have laid out in front of you, and I will not read all of this because you have it right in front of you, but there are some specific data points that I want to highlight in our fall benchmark data because this is always predictive of what we're heading into for state assessment data. So this gives us our roadmap on how we're going to intervene and target and potentially accelerate so that we can make movement with student growth and achievement. I had the pleasure of spending a few days at Mountain View Preparatory assisting with their fall benchmark data. Because they have a smaller population of Title I students, they don't have as much staff, and so I assisted Stacy Shelton. Specifically, I was in kindergarten, and that is always a really interesting grade level to assess because you are clearly looking at their early literacy skills, early math skills, and preschool, high quality preschool is a predictor of how they're going to come into us benchmark. So one of the first questions I ask the students when they sit down is, tell me about school. Is this your first time at school? Did you attend preschool? And anytime you go back and do a comparison, students who attended a high-quality preschool, it's a direct correlation to coming in with kindergarten readiness. And I think that that's something as a district we could start to collect that data a little bit better, because we are clearly seeing pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, there is a continual, we haven't dropped in the last 3 years. We're in that 33 to 34 range of % of students coming into us with readiness in kindergarten, but it's on this slow, gradual path down. And so we attribute that somewhat to technology. Dr. Ali was speaking this morning in a meeting that we were in about oral language, and what is the term that you were using this morning when they don't have the face-to-face talk at home and they're being put on devices? Yeah, you used a term though that I really loved this morning. She'll think of it. It'll come back. But we do see more and more of that. So it tells us that early intervention at kindergarten and first grade, having teachers that are highly qualified, highly effective in those grade levels, having intervention teams are going to be critically important to us into the future. So data really has not changed in kinder, but we are continuing to see students come to us with less readiness than in the last 10 years. And then a couple other things as well on here. We have steady growth. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. We have steady growth in both reading and math coming into fall. Why that's important to you all as board members, because we're always looking at end of the year state testing. Our fall benchmark testing is indicating that we are at the highest point we have been in the last, I think it's 7 or 8 years. So that puts us in a good position as long as we are targeted, explicit, systematic throughout the year. We're coming into fall in a good position in grades 2 through 8 combined, which leads us into state testing. Cohort strengths coming into 5th and 8th grade, we saw much stronger scores than we have seen in prior years. Areas of focus. Grade 1, grade 3, and grade 6. Those were areas that we saw some lower achievement district-wide, not necessarily in individual pockets at schools, but district-wide, and now schools are digging into that data to see, do we need teacher support because we may have teachers with less experience in those grade levels? Do we have a longitudinal history of students that have been a lower cohort? And so we're going to have to put more intervention support. So we're strategically planning for that as we roll out our tier 1 and our tier 2, tier 3 supports right now. Other ways that we're supporting data, both increased achievement and growth this year, weekly PLC meetings. Thank you again to the governing board for continuing that extended period of time on Wednesdays. Superintendent Vocca and I were just commenting as we have been spending time at PLCs this year that we are in such a further place at the beginning of this year than we have been in the last 3 years. So it's incredible to see both at the district PLC and at the site level PLCs, teachers know the protocol. They come right in and they are digging into whether it be data, assessments, analyzing the assessments after the fact, doing unwrapping of standards and lesson planning. It is becoming part of our culture, so that's a positive. We also have principals. They have a tool on their calendar that Superintendent Vocca shared with how to track where you're spending your time. Our goal is for principals to be in classrooms 2 hours per day so that they are seeing directly what is happening with student instruction, and they can provide support to their teachers as well. And then in addition, district walkthroughs are already happening and will begin in a more targeted way beginning in October. Also, our daily win time, where we give intervention or acceleration to all students, has begun this week. We've already begun our monthly site level meetings with principals to look at data, to plan, to be a partner, to support any of the challenges that they may be dealing with. And then new teacher mentoring. Again, thank you to the governing board for your continued support of Arizona K-12 and our initiatives with new teacher mentoring with our mentors Stephanie King and Leslie Petridge. And then, again, the last little piece in conclusion, we are in a better place than we have been in the fall. We've made increases in both reading and math coming into the fall benchmark data this year. And kindergarten is consistent with historic levels, but at the same time, we are seeing challenges with our population coming into us. So there are additional discussions that we were talking about with how do we support the increasing needs in kindergarten throughout the district, both behaviorally and academically, and those are things that we will have to plan for into the future to ensure that we have a continuing rise in student achievement and growth. Because if our foundation is coming in and there are challenges, it will impact us by third grade.
I have a question for you, Janie. Our new teachers, how are they receptive to the PLCs? Are they pleased that they get this time?
You know, and right now I'm looking at, so we've had our first district PLC, so I'm looking at that feedback. Superintendent Vocca and I were commenting on the positive on that. The positive from the first district PLC was ratings are always high. People do like to collaborate, to your point, but they were higher, and I think it's because they are more focused, and so new teachers coming in, I believe, feel very supportive. And I do hear qualitative comments frequently from teachers that come from outside of our district. Wow, I've never had this much support before. And we have a teacher who's joining us from Mingus this year, and that comment was, I've never had a new hire orientation. I've never been given curriculum. I've never sat down with a team to unpack standards or go over assessments in the way that we're doing it currently. And so that's a positive, and I will say that looks different at the elementary level sometimes compared to other systems, but those are comments that are coming into us. Wow, this is amazing. So yes, I think they're very receptive and they're feeling supported in what they're receiving.
I have a question on the predictive data that you mentioned on kindergarten readiness. Just is that something you're doing on your own? Are there other districts that are doing that in our region? Is this something we could maybe work with Superintendent King at the county level to use it as a tool for legislative or policy change or funding for preschool? We all know that's an issue.
And so these are things that all of us care deeply about, as you know, Superintendent King does as well. One of the challenges right now in the state of Arizona, yes, districts are collecting. They are required to collect literacy data for entering kindergarten through third grade students. That is the only mandate that's currently in place. However, that benchmark data, those screeners, vary from district to district. And so we currently have a YCEA collaborative here in the Verde Valley. So we are looking at data from across the Verde Valley, and yes, there are similar rates. We don't have a similar tool right now that is necessarily shared across districts, but one good point, Superintendent Vocca attended the Trust, as she mentioned, most recent update, and ADE presented. They also recently had a Friday webinar. The state is actually looking at the possibility of rolling out in 2028, Superintendent Vocca, was that the year? A possible, and President Valenzuela attended as well, a suite of assessments that would potentially be at a reduced cost or no cost to districts that go with the state option, and that would create better consistency with at least looking at data that is apple to apples as far as the assessments go. But I do think that YCESA would be a great organization locally to start to collect data throughout Yavapai County on what specifically we're seeing. And yes, to your point, legislative is the way that we would have to go to either impact funding or create an avenue for preschool that is available to all students. And again, it's interesting though, because some students come in with preschool and you don't see the same scores if they're coming from one preschool, but then you see another preschool. And so that's, not at our level. We get them in kindergarten, we take them where they're at and we move, but we know that high quality instruction, evidence-based structured literacy in preschool with phonemic awareness is a huge advantage to students coming into kindergarten.
Well, I just want to commend all of you for your hard work in getting us where we are. I think this is just wonderful news. But I also want to weigh in on that, that concern. Yep. It's like you've finally gotten to this point where things are better, things are leveling off, and now you're looking at people coming in not ready, which just makes it harder for all of you later, right? So Just great data, great information, and thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Dalton?
All righty. We'll start with CCS. I was able to apply for SFOB funding to replace 5 doors, door hardware for the 500 building. Initial application was accepted. They're running pretty low on money, but the price for it overall didn't come in very high. So I'm hoping that we can sneak this one in. It'd be a big upgrade, be a big security upgrade to those doors. They're not, there's a lot of problems with them. So, CES, just kind of looking at doing some additional fencing projects over there on the north fence line that borders the medical center and that old church sitting over there. Recently had somebody jump over that fence and threaten our rooster. Or the Birdie Tech rooster. Must not have liked them. So we definitely need to probably. It sounds like Cottonwood Police is starting to patrol that area a little bit more. But we definitely need to secure that area a little bit better from letting somebody easily jump over the fence.
Well, and true, and we're right next to that gully too, where those.
Right. Yeah, there's been an encampment down behind the church there for a little while now. Over at DDB, septic update. It's going very slowly. It's nothing seems to be going near as fast as what I would like to, but there's a lot of moving parts. Sometimes to get this funding, it's not the fastest process, and it's just a lot of back and forth paperwork between us and them. But there is progress. I think the engineering company sent their proposal in today. The next step on that project would be to get a contractor out to excavate the tanks on the south end of the school, clean them, put risers on them. The engineering company would like to do some flow testing to see exactly how much flow rate we have coming into both the north side and the south side of the school, to get some better calculations on what size of leach field we're going to need to put in. MVP, I have some more fencing projects. Hopefully will be scheduled soon. We're going to be replacing 2 old gates. I think it's the northwest corner. We're going to continue some wrought iron fencing around where the existing chain link fence is like 3 foot tall or something like that, 3'6", with a better gate there also to help secure that campus better during school hours. At Oak Creek, again, SFB project, well site. Got meetings going on with the state liaison and the engineer, so hopefully we'll get some more progress on that pretty soon. Updated quotes with KP Ventures, the well company. So it's just a matter of hurry up and wait. Throughout the district, we are moving forward with doing automated gates at the front entry of transportation. They'll be solar. They'll have a keypad out front. We'll have clickers, and the gate will be programmable. We have issues over there with the gate. The gate almost has to be left open all day long, and anybody can drive back in there. So it'll be a big step forward in securing the transportation area. What that looks like with having all the timers and clickers and buses and employees going in and out, we'll have to figure that out once we get there, but it should be pretty easy. We're continuing door hardware upgrades and rekeying campuses where we need to. Right now, we pretty much have Oak Creek done. We're looking at projects at CCS, and we're looking at some stuff at CES that we're going to address. Probably do the stuff at CES. There's not quite as much there to do, and we could secure that campus a little bit faster. It'd be a little bit better efficiency-wise just to get CES done and then take a longer look at CCS. We have upcoming county health inspections throughout the district. I think the last email that I had with them, we're looking at about the second week of October. Now, I wrote some notes on here throughout the night of other things I wanted to discuss. One of them was just an addition. Been talking to Musco, the guys who work on ballpark lights and stuff like that. I finally got everything in place to get them out to see why our lights aren't working. Once we figure out why they're not working, then we can move forward and see what we're going to do to fix them or what that cost is going to look like. The last thing that I have on here was concerning the door lock presentation that we just had. I like the idea of those locks. I'm not 100% sold that we need to jump into a district-wide program yet. I'd like to test run a school.
Okay.
Especially if I wasn't aware that they have funding kind of locked up with a private donor. So that's kind of interesting. So it might be something that we could do pretty quick. The idea of the door lock is awesome. It's great. It's just so easy for a teacher to operate, especially in a panic situation if there is a lockdown. But some of their install times are pretty optimistic of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
There's no way. You got to drill the door. You got to drill the frames. There's a lot of labor involved in a large amount of doors. And with our schools being older, I'm sure there's going to be some door frames, potential doors that don't meet their requirements. And so it's going to be a big project that would probably be best fit to go over summertime if we decide to do this.
Is this a recommendation of Superintendent King at the county's office, or this was just kind of a circumstantial?
So they met, I can't remember under the circumstances of how they met, but it was really, they were looking for somewhere that would be open to piloting this specific kind of lock, and so he knows I'm always interested in that sort of thing. So he asked us if we would be interested in looking at the presentation. So after the presentation, we were like, well, yeah, that would anything that could help fortify.
Yeah.
You know.
So if we wanted to do this, it would have to be on our next agenda to approve it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
But the lock itself is very, very simple. Like a child could lock it.
Yes.
Like if like right now, our setup is mostly if a door for some reason was not locked, a teacher would have to either, some of our lock sets are older, they would have to go outside to lock the door with a key, or do it from inside the room with a key. And in a stressful situation, that's going to be pretty difficult to do.
So
if
Matt,
the door's not already locked.
you would be in favor of piloting one school then?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have another question though. Why this lock and not another lock? And I'm just asking, like, devil's advocate, if we go through a process of, relocking an entire school's doors over the summer, and then it turns out that it doesn't work, or it's, doesn't pass code, or whatever the case may be, like, why this and not something else?
It's an addition to though.
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, so when they did the presentation for us, they actually kind of threw a lot of their, like the other stuff that was out there, and he briefly touched on it tonight, on other types of locks and stuff that have been seen in schools. A lot of the different stuff that they were showing, I've seen some of the things. They actually locked the door up high to where a child couldn't unlock it if there was a fire in the room. They don't meet fire code. They don't meet different safety codes and stuff.
Are there new guidelines for requirements of a lock of this kind of nature, or is it just, it would be extra security?
It would
It's
be
not
extra
required,
It
it's
would be
just
extra security.
Yeah.
It's extra.
Like in the perfect world, right? The teachers, our staff would all keep the doors locked, and in an emergency situation, everything would be locked up. It's just an extra step, I feel, that just kind of makes it easier for the door to be ensured to be locked, because we're still seeing a lot of unlocked doors.
Well, and Matt, correct me if I'm wrong too. I think the argument for this and against others is it's one motion,
Right.
right? So it's
Right.
And it's easy.
And it's easy.
It's easy to do. Some of the stuff is like you shove something under the doorway, or there's like a sleeve going over the.
Most of the other
Other
things
part?
that I've seen, and I've looked around a little bit, not very much in depth, they're not ADA compliant, they're not fire code compliant, but you see them in a lot of schools because teachers want that second layer of security for their rooms or whatnot, and so they're buying stuff off of Amazon themselves.
Yeah,
Some
that's
schools
very
are buying
worrisome.
stuff.
I mean, if it's not ADA compliant, can't
Right.
you get dinged for that?
Yeah,
I mean, that doesn't
Absolutely,
even.
yeah.
Yes.
Or like even fire code stuff, you know, the fire inspector came through and saw something he wasn't comfortable with, we'd be removing it.
Like for example, too, with the little magnets that we were using for a little bit at one of the schools, that idea came from actually a different school district in the county, and it went through SROs, and so we were like, oh, this went through the SROs. This must be, this must be something that's pretty common. And then when the school facilities ladies came by, they were like, oh no, that's a big no-no. So it's thinking of, it's multi-layered that way as far as being approved in many aspects.
You know, when you look at our district and all of the teachers, staff involved, all of the doors involved, there's going to be doors that get left open invariably. This device, to me, like this, I don't know these guys or anything like that until we saw them, right? But it just seems very, very simple in a very stressful situation where somebody might not be able to function quite properly, or have the proper mindset to lock their door. All they got to do is just flip that thing over, and boom, it's done. The door is going to be very well secured.
I think my only other question that came to mind too is just the maintenance of it. I mean, he mentioned that it just required, what did he say, WD-40?
WD-40.
You know,
Right,
but
yeah.
does that require you or your team to go around and check a certain number of times a year to make sure that they're functioning? And it is a secondary
It is, yeah.
lock, so I know there's another lock, but I
Right.
mean, just what's the
You know, I don't
maintenance
think
look
so. I
like?
think it would be relatively maintenance-free.
Okay.
I spent quite a bit of time looking at it when they did their initial presentation, and there's really nothing that's just going to wear out and fail. I don't see, especially because it's not going to get used a lot, maybe during a drill, so that people get familiar with it. Because you do have that primary lock set and door handles and everything else on the door. The only other concern I had with that system, though, is one, we got to have keys available for the
Yeah.
fire department
Yeah.
in the Knox box outside the school, so that they have, they can get in if they have to. We'd have to keep a key secured with the front office, and just kind of, how many keys do we need? Do we just keep one at the front office? Will we need multiple keys?
It gets
So-
complicated, yeah.
There's
But
more,
this is
there's more
something you can
keys.
talk to him about, yeah, and
it's
ask
so
them.
new. It's just
It's
so
so new
new.
'cause
that
It is a
there's
We're
very
gonna
new
pilot it
product,
and see.
yeah.
Well,
No,
if the
and-
keys aren't costing us anything, we could, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of why I thought it would be nice, maybe, it's a brand new company.
Yeah.
They don't have a track record. It sounds like they're getting some contracts. I think the idea behind that product is great. But who knows, whatever, they're not here next week.
Yeah.
It's so,
But the good thing is,
Yeah.
we're not paying for anything if we
Yeah.
try
right.
it, if we put it in.
And that was my last concern with this. If we do decide to do this, we need to make sure that the district's not liable if they can't find the funding for
Yeah.
the project, to fund the project.
Great.
Because that's kind of a concern of mine, is
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, we tried to get you funding, but we can't get it.
Yeah.
And we
Some
don't
of the
want to.
grant programs they were looking for to pick from, I think we were already taking money from for the SSO program. If I remember correctly. I don't remember correctly.
Yeah, it's school safety. It's the school
Yeah.
safety grant would cover something like this, and we're like, well, and there's only a certain budget amount there, so
Yeah.
we have SROs and we have the school safety officers that come through. So that was a question, and they were
Right.
like, well, we could look at that, but there's also private donors. This was the first time I heard that there was someone already in line to do this.
Right, yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
was not aware of that.
yeah.
So, Matt, and I don't expect you to have the answer to this, maybe you do though. So my experience with an FPA fireproof doors is you cannot have penetration in those doors, otherwise they're no longer fireproof doors.
Right.
And so if this system mounts inside that door, what does that do to the NFPA fire rating? And then will that even pass fire inspection anymore? I only
Right.
ask because, believe it or not, I got hit for door stops.
That's something that I would need to look into. I don't see, like in a classroom door, I don't see how it could be much different than that regular handle set that was installed in a door.
Yeah.
But that would definitely be something I would
Yeah.
need to look into.
That would just be my question before we go through and do a whole campus, is make sure that we aren't now just taking a whole campus out of fire compliance through an
That we're in
FPA.
fire compliance.
I would like to have, like, the local fire department look at that lock and get their opinion on it as well. They say that they have done all of the testing, and they have like it looks like all of the right numbers, for like, fire alarm or fire, code and all of that. But I would wanna look into that a little bit more as well.
Are they based in Arizona? Do we know? Are they headquartered here?
I don't think they are.
I mean, that might be another question.
Right.
We're throwing a lot of questions at you, and we
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
you don't know them, but, if they're coming from another state and it passed all of the guidelines there, is it the same?
Doesn't meet ours
It-
locally.
Yeah,
Right.
and so just curious about that as well.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So you have your job work cut out for you.
Yay.
One more thing, besides my marquee.
Yeah.
Well, I actually really appreciate being able to have this conversation without the gentleman here, so
Yes.
thank
Right.
you. Appreciate
Right.
that.
Yeah, like I said, overall, I think like the simplicity of it is good. It looks bulletproof. It's made out of really heavy metal. I think you got the whole.
This is
whole
gonna
bit there,
last
Jack,
forever,
right?
I think it will. I mean, 100
But,
years from now, they'll find those things and say, well, this must have been
They're
some kind of a
definitely
door lock.
durable. Yeah, they're definitely durable. It's just the I didn't even think of that fire, if it would change the rating of the
Right.
door, which
I
would
don't
be
see how I
important.
could change a fire rating. I mean, what would there be?
They just say any penetration into
Yeah,
the
any
door.
Into
they
a
don't
door.
like penetrations in the doors.
So that has to be mounted with some
Because
sort of hardware.
Does that?
Because the
if
air
it's
can
If it can penetrate into the door, what are they looking for? How could it do that?
That was my argument for the door stops too, but.
Yeah,
Yeah, some things just do not make sense, that's
No.
all there is to it. But I like that it was bulletproof, because, let's just face it, a lot of these people that
I
are
liked it. It
using
was-
these
it was simple.
high-powered guns.
and it was extra.
That
and
could
I
blow
really
up
liked-
tanks.
I like that we could use.
Yeah, it would be a great
our
second
locks.
line of defense for a
Yeah,
classroom if if it's something that we want to move forward to after we try it out, like we try it out at CCS. And if it seems like a great product, these guys are picking up steam, becoming more nationally recognized or
Well,
whatever.
That's why a pilot
Right, yeah.
is to find everything that can go wrong and what are the pros and the cons. So, yeah, we won't know unless we go ahead and give the okay to pilot one school. And I think Jesse said what, CCS is a good choice.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, we're going down to number 6. Business service update, Tammy Jansen.
So we are, well, actually, finished up the first revision of the budget for FY '26. We have put FY '25 on there, but that's included. And it has to be submitted to ADE on September 15th after it's board approved.
Excuse me.
The original budget, adopted budget, was on preliminary worksheets, so basically the change was we downloaded the final worksheets for the FY '26 budget. And I went ahead and used the information I had with looking at what our average daily membership was. At the time, I did add our state aid supplements and what I'm projecting for carry forward. Also, we're closing out FY '24 now, so we'll have better numbers closer to the December 15th revision of the budget. And after the AFR is finished, that deadline's October 15th. Things are looking really good. Expecting Plainfield and Beach to start in September. I just reached out to them. They won't visit until January for our audit. Hopefully they have it done a little earlier in March than they did last year. We're still working on ERP Pro, hoping to be paperless by January 1st. That's all I have for update.
Okay, now we're on 601. This is an action item to approve the 2025-26 revised budget. Do I have any questions
I
before?
just have a quick question.
Okay.
This is the first revised, did we do this 3 times? Is that right?
So I'm hoping we don't have to.
Oh, good, okay.
We don't have any reports from the state yet because we haven't closed out FY '25. I'm projecting that our carryover is gonna be a little higher than first projected, which is good news because if our ABM slips, but our carryover is higher, we have capacity not to disrupt education by having to move classrooms, figure out different things to do with teachers, so it's looking really good for that.
And we're not ending until September 30th because of the carryover.
Correct. So
Yeah.
basically, we have through August 30th for any revenues to post to last year, any vouchers to be paid, and then we have till September 30th for journal entries, any corrections that need to be made. So that's what we're working on now. And then the AFR is due October 15th. So the budget, as you read, did go up. And this is just looking at the M&O balance. We haven't looked at anything else because where I was at with carryover with, say, like, capital, DAA, was pretty close to where we're gonna fall. Maintenance and operation is our largest general fund, and thanks to Matt and all of his SFOB, we're really healthy in our capital right now. Again, capacity, if something happened and we were struck by lightning and we had to replace all the air conditioning systems or something, you know, we could do it if we had to. So, and that's what I try to keep in mind with, both M&O and capital, enough capacity that we're never dangerously in a situation that we can't help.
And so you're thinking this will be the only revision?
So I could probably one more.
One more.
I don't know if
One
it'll
more.
be December or it'll be May.
Okay.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the 2025-26 SY revised budget number 1 by Ms. Jansen? Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're good to go, Tammy, with your numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you again for all your work. Okay, number 7, administrative services and guidelines and policies. We have nothing on that, do we?
I have a question.
Yes?
And November's meeting is moved back another week. What's the reasoning for that?
On the board meeting?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
November 11th, it should be the 4th?
I think the 11th is a holiday.
The 11th is a Tuesday, it's a holiday.
Well, it says we have a governing board meeting November 11th at 5 p.m.
Where does it say that?
Oh, you know what, that was the Tuesday.
That's
I wonder
board
if that's
report.
old.
That's what, hun?
I wonder if that's old. I have it as the 5th, November 5th. Do
I've
we
got
have
it on my
that in
calendar as
here?
the 5th.
This is on the board report side.
Board report.
I think it's just a typo.
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably just a typo.
Okay, well, I thought I missed something.
And I didn't even catch it. Good
Yeah,
heaven.
it's on the 5th, November 5th. Yeah, I see.
Yeah,
Governing board
okay.
meeting
Fourth
November
shows,
5th.
yeah, 5th.
Yep, that should be the 5th.
No.
Okay.
It is on our calendar, the 5th, yes.
So it's the 5th, okay.
Okay,
All right.
just a FYI, I will not be available for October's board meeting. I will be on the other side of the country,
Okay.
so.
We'll miss you.
Well, I miss you too, but, and I can't do it by phone because I don't know for sure what we're gonna be
Oh.
doing, so.
Okay. And then, does anybody else have a board report?
I
Okay,
enjoyed
Jack?
oh, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna
Jack.
say, I enjoyed going and seeing the new bus.
That's what I was going
I
to say.
Yeah, that's right.
That was
I
fun.
missed that. I'm gonna go down by myself. But I went,
I'd go with you, because I missed it too.
okay.
We'll figure out a time.
Yeah,
we can
we'll
do
figure out a time when we can do that. Also, I was able to go to the trust, and it's a real eye opener, and it's scary, and I think we need, at least once or twice a year, we need to have somebody from the trust come
Is
up.
that something we could add to the retreat?
Yes, yeah,
Even
we
a
can
little
do that.
session?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that's really wise.
Yes.
What I really love about this district is its proactive approach from all corners or every vantage point. I mean, from the school governing board all the way down. And so when we're typically at those things, we take them very seriously, and those things are typically put into some sort of policy or whatnot. And
Well, the
so-
old idiom is, knowledge is power. You know, I'd rather have a forewarning than, it'd be oh gosh, we didn't know that. And have to respond to the public or,
And it's usually through them that we find out, oh, we need a policy for this, or we need some sort of training or whatnot. And
Yeah.
the trust, I'm really happy with their model policies. I believe it's been much easier.
Much
than-
easier to read, much
Yes,
easier to
yes.
follow.
to speak
And-
nothing of the amount of money we're saving. I mean,
Yeah.
And
that's a
like,
biggie.
right, and our actual lawyers were in charge of writing those policies. So we call them and they're like, well, this is the reason why, this is how we go about it, and this is what the state wants. And so they're very knowledgeable and very good at giving,
And they recommend,
Direction.
if they recommend if we need a policy, they would say, I would recommend that you do a policy. And which, then that's how we get our policies.
and that is the same, they are the same people that put on our administrative retreat, or not retreat, I should say, trust summit in June that all of our principals went to. And there were lawyers there. Our lawyer was there, and I missed him again, darn. I haven't met him in person yet, but, and it's very well done. Everything they do is very well done.
And this might be a good thing, if the trust comes up for one of our board retreats, maybe when they come to speak, we could have at least the administrators come too, to see.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Because it would be nice to share, so they know we're all on the same page.
Yes, yep.
Okay. Then we have our schedule, and now we're gonna call for items for next month's meeting agenda. Do we wanna put on there, approval of to pilot the locks at CCS?
Oh, yeah, an action item.
Action item,
Will that,
Will that give you enough
In-
time to get the
yeah, would that give
questions
Give you enough
answered?
time?
gives us about a month to kind of sort through all of the
Yeah.
information and stuff. I should be able to have, everything answered by.
Okay, good.
Will he then present information, or like how will that roll out?
So we can put him as presenting information on that specific, when we go to make an action, we'll have him present.
If they present it and then we can approve that we want them or not.
Correct,
Yeah, that's how we would do it.
Yeah, so he can,
Uh-huh.
we'll have him give it, we'll have Matt, Mr. Dalton, give the update on
Yes.
So will that agenda then have the two agreements you referenced? Or will we have to bring it back? Okay.
Yeah, we should have the agreements on there, our questions answered, in fire department also, and, make sure we covered all those bases.
And the one about the funding, if the funding doesn't come through, that we're not responsible.
Right.
Correct, yes.
Okay? And what else do we want on there? Oh, are we gonna have the oh, no, you said that probably in May then, right?
December or May.
December or May.
AFR seems already on there. I don't know what the bond expense report is, though, Tricia. Is that over, right?
The bond expense report is an annual report that's prepared by the business services director that, gives the breakout of what our bond expenses, have been and what, funds have been used for.
We do not have a line currently that hasn't been used. I mean, we are paying on one, but it's already been used, so there won't be any update on that. It'll be override, but no bond.
Okay. And a possible transportation report, you said?
We had a possible, as a study session, possibly. Unless there is a different study session that you would like us to go over.
And then you also have here approval of the AFR, okay? And then if it's bond expense report, would that be tied together with the public hearing on the override funds?
So we'll take the bond expense report out,
Okay,
because that, we're just paying on it, it's already been expended, I guess.
okay,
I
so
guess
it's
it
just
is.
public hearing on override funds.
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything else they want to bring up?
Can't think of anything right now.
Okay, so if there's nothing else, we're going to adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, my